Okay then, Brother Bison number 47. I'll meet you at the you-know-where, at the you-know-when, to go over the you-know-what. Gotta go. Hey, dude! What's up?
What are you wearing?
Well, I'm part of the Eternal Order of the Blue Water Buffalo, and we're going to be making buffalo wings. Of course.
Oh, okay. You know wings are from chickens, right?
Yeah, no. Surely you're familiar with the Buffalo Soldiers. Back in 1968, Lyndon Johnson didn't get to have any buffalo wings, and so he ordered the army to go take care of all the buffaloes, and they slaughtered most of them to get their wings. And they're not available anymore that you can see. The only thing you see now are bison. Kind of like this, because nobody's looking for the buffalo wings, because they're up there.
Where do you get this? I mean, this is not on Wikipedia or anything.
Well,
None of this is right.
I walked past a book that said Buffalo Soldiers, and it didn't look all. So I kind of surmised that that's what happened.
Oh, Lord. Okay. No.
Okay, so what happened?
None of that's correct.
Okay.
We're making buffalo chicken wings, and they come from chickens.
Well, that explains it being a lot
The
smaller.
buffalo part doesn't come from the animal. It comes from the place up in New York. It's two little bit different stories. At Anchor Bar, they don't bread them. They cut the wings so you have a drum and you have a flapper, right? A wing. Fry them just like that. Toss a little hot sauce that's been hit with a little bit of butter, maybe a little cayenne, and that's it. Simple. Blue cheese on the side, little celery sticks. That's how they originally served it. However, there's this other guy, John Young, who had a restaurant called Wings and Things, and he says, no, I invented the buffalo chicken wing. And his recipe, though, you bread the wing, and he didn't separate the wing from the drum. So he would bread them, fry them, and then he still had a hot sauce. It was his mumbo sauce, I believe he called it.
Right.
But it was a little bit more involved than just the simple sauce that the Anchor Bar was doing. Which one was first? Who knows? But,
Then certainly these do make sense for buffalo wings, right?
Well, yeah, I guess. I mean, it's hot sauce. I suppose if that bothers you.
I'm just thinking about the aftermath. You ever pour down a few beers, eat a bunch of chicken wings, and go down and relieve yourself? Talk about a new ring of fire!
Just no.
Okay, fine. All right, let's just make some wings. All right, so a buddy of mine asked me the other day, how do you make wings that you get at a bar?
I mean, since they're going to be fried, that's almost a given. Occasionally you'll find cooked in the oven or something, but fried. Let's be real. And really the only other question is going to be, is it breaded or not breaded? And that's just going to depend on the place you're at.
Right.
So, sometimes restaurants are able to do things that are easier there because they're set up for it,
Sure.
and that's all they do every day, where it's a bit of a chore at the house.
Yeah.
Up there, just putting them in the fryer and hitting the button, and when it dings there, they come up and they're coming out to you. And they're going to take a commercial kitchen, 8 minutes, maybe.
Mm-hmm. So there's a danger aspect in it. You've got a
Yeah, man,
vessel full of hot grease, and there's
Kid
potential
comes by,
for
a
danger.
cat comes by, you don't know what you're doing, and you throw a bunch of really wet wings into it, and it boils over, and you burn your house down. I mean, you see it happen at Thanksgiving.
Absolutely.
Turkey fry, right? And I personally, at home, I don't really fry wings that often.
Yeah, I've gotten to where I don't either. If you don't fry them, how do you get the crispy?
Well, I mean,
we talked about grilling.
Certainly grilling can do it. To me, it's either grilling and baking, or the other two that you're left with. And both have their pros and cons. Both can give you a crispy skin. It's really more what you're a little bit of a convenience factor and flavor profile that you're looking for. A grill, you're definitely gonna be standing there for a little while because it's not a whole lot faster on a grill. You can't cook them at a real high temperature on the grill and expect to get that crispy wing. That requires a little bit of a lower temperature and longer cook time. There's something about grilled food. You get that
outside. There's a camaraderie if you're having a party. and experience.
I don't want to be out there in the middle of winter and it's a blizzard outside. That's off the table. We're going to the oven.
Well,
But-
one too, if it, depending on your outside element, if it's really really cold, you're not going to be able to get your vessel to heat up properly.
Yeah,
And
sure.
you have the ambient temperatures to deal with, and
Yep.
and what if it's 105 degrees? I don't know about you.
I really don't want to be out there.
No. And if you live in an apartment, or you live somewhere where you don't have a grill,
Right.
you can't do that. So that really brings us down to the most accessible way to make a wing.
Pretty much everybody has got one of these.
Absolutely.
Maybe you got a fancy little fan in there that makes it a convection oven. Maybe you don't. But every apartment that I've ever seen, you got an oven.
For baking, kind of like grilling, is it takes a long time to get a crispy wing. I mean, it takes a while.
If I'm cooking them at home in the oven, I'm usually doing. I'm trying to do 2 pans at once in my oven, and I don't have the fancy convection oven, so it's just a regular ye-old oven. That's going to take me about an hour.
Yeah.
But at the end of an hour, I'm going to have wings that are golden and crispy on the outside and juicy on the inside, and I personally think rival anything that you're going to get fried at a restaurant.
I agree.
Preheat my oven. I do 425 for my regular old oven, and then next thing I'm going to do is get those wings and I'm going to toss them in the seasoning. I like to use a smoky pepper. I typically use something like a chipotle or a apple pepper. Really like those, kind of chocolatey and just smoky, but with a little bit of heat.
Yeah.
So that gives me a little bit of that. I like a little cumin in there. I also use smoked paprika. Again, kind of gives that smoky. A little garlic powder, and salt and pepper.
Right.
And I mean, for me, and you use what you like, man. You have a favorite herb or something, seasoning, great, use it. I'm sure you could do it. You could do an Indian style wing. And
Yeah, why
toss
not?
it
You know, Asian, whatever.
Yeah, man. It all works. It just, what are you in the mood for? That's how I do it. I go with smoky chilies and that sort of stuff, with those smoke and earth flavors, and then a little salt and what have you to kind of lift everything up. And I'm gonna finish it later in some sauce, but that's how I start.
Right.
Yeah.
You
No,
can just bake.
these are. I tell you what, you pick one up. I mean, you know what? I know these are gonna get tossed in sauce, and I shouldn't do this, but I mean, you hear it crunch?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
It's like a deep fried wing. So you got to put that in the oven. I use a convection. If you don't have a convection, I'd go 450. I use a convection at 425. To really get the right crisps, you got to turn them about every 15 minutes.
let's make sauce, man. I
make
think
sauce.
we got to start with just like the ye old, basic, traditional.
Bar.
I mean, we were talking about going to the bar and getting some
Yes.
wings, and really, it's the same. If you get mild, medium, hot, whatever floats your boat, doesn't matter. It's basically the same thing, and you control how much heat is in there with butter. And then when you start getting into the mild sauces, maybe a little bit of brown sugar.
All right, so if the hot wings that I get are going to be this, the mild wings that I get are going to be this, and the medium wings I get are going to be this. It's not changing the pepper.
Nope.
It's
So, like, we're going to do this with Louisiana Crystal Hot Sauce,
Okay.
right? You could use a Frank's, you could use a Texas Pete, whatever your favorite sauce is going to work fine. And really, you just dump some in a little saute pan. We got some wings in there, so that'll make enough sauce, right? Cayenne pepper.
just a little bit of heat.
You don't need a lot.
Mhm.
And again, you ask yourself, how hot do I like my wings? You like really hot wings? Put more in. You want just a little bit of heat? Just give it a dash. I vary. This is my one little thing that I like to do is a little bit of lemon.
Why?
Not everybody does it.
Why
Well, a lot of places will add like a vinegar or something like that, and these are vinegar based.
Sure.
Right? So we're just adding a little bit more acid, but we're giving that lemon tends to kind of cut through flavors.
Yeah, okay. It enhances.
Actually, I should say it kind of lifts.
Yeah, sure.
Right? So I will take a half a lemon, just kind of squeeze it in there, and That's literally how I do it. I catch any seeds in my hand and.
Well, yeah, because you don't want the seeds in the sauce.
No, people
Not the
get
best
weird
thing.
about that, and mix that up together. And then I'm going to turn on the heat. I don't need a lot of heat here. I just need to get this thing hot enough to melt butter. Actually, I don't want it. I don't want to see boiling. What we're doing right now is we're making a butter sauce, right?
Okay.
And butter sauces are classic. But they're fairly easy, but there's a couple rules to them, and one of the rules is butter. If you get it too hot, when you go to try to mix it together, it will separate.
Yeah.
Right. So you'll have a layer of what looks like oil and a layer of your other ingredients. It won't be all creamy and emulsified and look nice and have that mouthfeel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that velvety
and the key
texture.
the key to getting that right is controlling your heat. So I don't want to get this boiling hot. I want to just get it hot enough to melt butter, and then I'll leave the heat on as I'm incorporating the butter. But I'm gonna keep my eye on again on my temperature. I should be able to kind of touch the side of my pan. If it's getting so hot that I can't touch it, it's getting too hot for the butter. That's a real easy way to know if your temperature is right.
You touch the pan.
You can't do this, and that burns you. You've got to
Too much heat for the butter.
Your butter sauce is going to break.
Okay. Well, that's a good rule of thumb.
I mean, like and so now I'll just I got a little bit of cold butter, chilled butter, and while that's heating up, I'll just cut it up into some cubes. And we're going to incorporate those here in just a minute, but I can control how hot this is by how much butter I put in it. So
you're talking about spicy hot now, not temperature hot.
Yes,
you control the spice by the amount of
So
butter.
what is it going to taste like on my wing? I mean, when I cook, I like to keep like spoons or something around me to where I'll dip and taste, and that's how you learn about flavor profiles. That's how you learn what's too hot for you and what's enough butter for you. And like I said, with a mild wing, I'll add the butter and then just a little bit of sweetness, a little bit of brown sugar. It won't
honey,
take much.
Would honey work too?
Sure,
Brown sugar?
but I can tell you that the bars, the restaurants that have been doing it for a while, that's one of the things that they like to do with mild sauces is they'll add a little bit of brown sugar to it. And it doesn't take a whole lot. You're talking a couple teaspoons into what we're looking at here, maybe. And it's just enough to sweeten it up to where it just sort of tones down the heat.
Okay.
So you still have that chili flavor, which is important to a wing.
Yeah.
But you don't have all the heat.
So if you can't hang with the big dogs and you want to go mild, they put brown sugar on.
Yes, and more butter. And more butter.
Okay.
So it's all about that. All about that. How much butter to how much hot sauce ratio.
But you would want to control that, even controlling that with the type of cayenne pepper sauce or jalapeno pepper sauce or whatever you choose to balance it to make the heat and the flavor right.
To me, wings aren't a much of a thing. It's not. Yeah. I don't want to see how much pain I can take. I just want to have a nice wing, man, and enjoy my wing, my beer, and the game that's on TV, and maybe some good conversation.
Yeah, and that's what I think our friend's looking for is how do I make that?
Yeah.
How do I get that wing
and that's this.
Right?
That's this. And so we can see right now it's not boiling. You can shut off the heat. It's not. There's no boil, but we've got steam now. You can touch the side. It's certainly warm. Towards the bottom, it's
but
hot,
that seems
but
like that's
not
something you could melt butter in, but you're not going to scorch it.
Right. Well, and you don't want to get the butter too hot. That's all it is. And then once we start adding the butter, we're just gonna start whisking it in. And I just cube it up, whisk away, and you'll see very quickly if your sauce is gonna hold. If you got it too hot. If it's too hot,
breaking?
It's almost immediately just gonna start separating on you. Where this is staying creamy.
Yeah. You can see it. Yeah, you can see it staying together. So it's like making a lemon butter or a bechamel or
that's what I'm
something
saying.
like that.
It's a butter sauce, which
Right.
and all of those, every butter sauce, what you're doing is you're taking liquid of some sort, reducing it a little bit, getting it warm. If you have to reduce it, maybe you have to let it cool for a minute. But you take liquid, get it hot, get it reduced, get it at a reasonable temperature. Like I said, where it's warm to me, definitely warm to me, but it's not burning me.
Right.
And then I just whisk the butter in. And as long as I'm controlling my temperature
See,
like that,
that looks like wing sauce right there.
Yeah,
That looks like what you
absolutely.
get on your wing. Nice.
and then,
Ooh, it has
and
the-
then,
it has
and
the
then
aroma of
fancy, you know, if it's getting too hot, you do this. You take it off the heat
Pull it
and then
off.
start doing it over here, right? You control your heat, and that's all you have to do to make a butter sauce, which is what that original wing sauce is.
Right. So there's
And that's it.
That's wing sauce.
There you go. Wing sauce. We
101.
just made wing sauce.
All right.
Yep.
Okay.
Done. Easy. You're gonna make a hot sauce,
Oh
right?
yeah. Yes.
Let's do it, man.
All right. This one is one that has come from a pretty popular restaurant down in Atlanta, and I know other restaurants use this, and that's you touched on it earlier, and that's using peppers, whole peppers,
Yeah.
and then a hot sauce.
All right. So what we got going in here? We got,
Got
some hot chili peppers.
Which is basically that's really just a Tabasco pepper,
Okay.
and then we're going to use. I like this sauce. It's
Louisiana hot sauce, man.
Louisiana
Good
hot
stuff.
sauce. And
So a bunch of that. Some of these.
then, and then lots of black pepper.
A little bit of black pepper. So it looks like we got, I don't know, I would call it an eighth of a cup of this. 2 teaspoons, 2.5 teaspoons black pepper, and
Then we're going to crank
third
this
to a
bad
half a
boy.
cup of Louisiana. So apparently when you make this, you freak out all the dogs in the neighborhood.
I like making the dog sounds too. It's good.
Sure, sure.
It's good. It's fun. It's
That's
fun.
all right.
All right. So,
So,
this.
so again, one of the differences though, there's no butter in this. There's nothing cutting
No.
the flavor of
Just
the,
heat. This is basically what you're
chili.
getting on this is just heat.
yeah.
So we get a nice.
Yeah, look at that, man. It's gonna be good.
Yeah.
I'm getting hungry now.
That's spicy right there. That'll be a nice wing.
Wings.
This is bar food. This is fun. This is like a treat.
There you go. Yeah,
And that's where you gotta
would
look at this.
Just eat it the way you want it, because even baked versus fried, which I would think fried in my mind, oh, that's got to be the worst. I mean, and technically, it's a little more calories in a fried wing,
Sure.
but it's not a big difference. You'd be surprised. It's not a big difference at all. Man, so we've got wings 3 ways.
3 ways.
But baked. All
Yes,
baked.
all
right?
baked. Crispy, crunchity plain wings for those that just don't like any kind of heat at
Yeah,
all.
and they can dip it in whatever.
Delish.
Right.
Bar style.
Bar
hot
style,
dogs.
about a medium to a hot, I
Mhm.
think, with the butter we put in there.
Hot
Hot.
wings. Probably going to need a little bit of something creamy, buttery, milky to get that one down.
So that's a good point, though. So let's say you're eating a wing. Let's say I pick one of these and I go grab, because I know it's over there, some ghost pepper sauce or
Oh,
something
yeah.
like that, and I put a couple dabs on there, so I'm feeling big and feeling strong, and I take a bite, and I feel like I'm gonna die.
Right.
What can I do?
Ranch, blue cheese. That's why they serve that stuff.
Dairy.
You're right, because the dairy will bind, the molecules of the dairy will bind to the capsaicin, which is the heat.
The
that
spicy
you taste.
stuff,
Yeah,
right?
it'll bind to your mouth, and it will eliminate it. Water don't work, beer don't work.
Because it's oil based,
Right.
and oil and water don't mix.
Exactly.
But milk does.
What we need to do
took these
is
off.
get some fatty blue cheese and fatty ranch to go with this.
I'm
and
hungry.
Let's do it.
Yeah, no, this needs to get eaten right now.
I know. That's
Yeah,
what I'm talking about.
Yeah, let's go.